Go.
Okay, so today I'm going to talk to you guys about epistolary novel, which we all know since we've been doing it since last year. So, as per the Merriam-Webster, epistolary means of or relating to a letter, suitable to a letter, or written in form of a series of letters. So essentially, it's a letter. So the epistolary comes from the Latin epistola, meaning letter. Okay. So there's three methods that we can see in epistolary novels. So there's the letters, journals, and diaries. So letters are the most common ones, but diaries are also quite popular. And it became popular during the 18th century. So it's the same idea of like letters, because back then they didn't have any technology.
Yeah, isn't that about this?
But it's a presentation.
Okay, so how do you recognize an epistolary novel? So it has a correspondence between characters. It often shows different point of views, but without an omniscient narrator. So like generally in books or in novels, if you want, to have everyone's point of view, you need an omniscient narrator, but in this case you don't. There's only three types of epistolary novel. There's the monologic one, so letters from only one character, which contradicts that idea of different point of views, but it's one way of doing it. Dialogic, so letters from two characters, and polylogic, meaning letters from three or more characters. So some famous epistolary works, Les Liaisons Dangereuses by Pierre Corderos de la Cruz, which we did last year. Perks of Being a Wallflower, which is also letters, I believe. Diary of a Wimpy Kid, which I was very surprised when I saw this, but it counts because it's a diary. And it's, even though it's a cartoon and things like that, it still counts as
a cartoon.
Well, essentially. Pride and Prejudice also counts because throughout the novel there are letters written from Darcy, from Elizabeth, and so on. So yeah.
But like, I mean, the entire book isn't just letters.
No, it's definitely not just that, but there is an.
So even if there's just like a few letters in it, it still counts as basically.
I don't think it's relevant.
So the whole novel would not necessarily be complete epistolary work, but it contain
They have, yeah.
sections or portions of
What about So Long a Letter?
You're funny.
Okay, so in your opinion, is So Long a Letter really an epistolary novel, and why?
Yes.
Yes, and why?
It's a letter. It's a letter.
So long a letter.
It's kind of
I hope you have more. And like you said, I was like no omniscient narrator. Well, she doesn't know everyone's thoughts. She doesn't know everyone's feelings. She just knows what she feels and how she feels towards something that happened in her life, such as her husband leaving her and stuff. So yeah.
Well, sometimes she gives the opinion of others, saying, "Oh, I know how you feel about this, so I'm gonna talk about this in a different way," or "I know how you feel about that. I know how you felt about that. I know."
But that's because it's like her best friend, right?
But
So it's
that's
like you know how your best friend
I
feels towards
do,
something.
yeah. I feel like I agree with Carrie, which is, it's still her point of view saying someone else's point of view, so it's pretty subjective. I still feel like it's a monologic.
Like if he tells me that he doesn't like David, right, and then I say, "How do you like David?" That's what my point of view is.
Yeah, but it's not like you don't know his like all his feelings. You know what I mean? Like you know a part of it.
You know just part of what the person's telling. Right. After reading Marcus' Chronicles of Death Foretold, we learned that titles can be ironic to a certain point, tricky. So to what extent is the title So Long a Letter relevant to this novel, and do you agree with this title?
It's a long letter.
But could you agree, like,
Yes, I
could, no, wait.
Let her finish, bro.
Let her finish.
No,
It's like it should be titled So Long a Letter because even at the end she says like too bad for me if I have to like leave so long of a letter, because you see that it's her way of like keeping herself busy during her time of mourning when she can't leave the house, so it's her own way of expressing herself, and she does that through writing letters to her friends.
But could one argue that it could be a diary or a journal, since she is essentially telling her entire life from the moment her husband died and everything that goes with it?
But she sends to someone.
No, but it could be a diary or a journal through the use of the letter.
It's interesting how we don't get a response.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because she just sent it.
She R-bombed.
What
No,
if
no, but wasn't she supposed to meet us?
That doesn't know what that means.
R-bombed? Like,
Yeah, I'll say I don't get that.
We don't know if she actually sent it, we don't know, but the interesting thing is that we don't get a response, and it is a very long letter over the course of like months, right? And therefore.
Maybe she never sent
Wait,
it.
did she writes it over the course of months, or she talks about the course of months?
I think it took her 2 days to write.
I
I
think
think she just sat down and wrote for a long, long time.
That's what I
talked
felt
about
like,
a bunch of things.
Okay.
And it just
Another
happened.
question, like,
I don't know, I have to look at
if she
that
plans
over
on sending this, but she comes to her house,
The
who's
next
gonna be
day,
there
yeah.
to get it?
Wasn't she
Like, I don't-
supposed to come the next day?
Yes, right. It's the
So-
timing, correct? The timing seems a little bit strange because she is supposed to come the next day,
yeah, so why would she send her a letter telling her everything she could say?
2 days before she's gonna arrive.
It's like her
Okay.
diary.
Go.
Probably
So-
a brainstorm.
Me?
Yeah.
So I feel like maybe like you could see it as a diary because it could be some sort of remedy for her, trying to get her feelings out. Because like Nadine said, like you can't talk to anyone at this time of morning because you're kind of like secluded from society. So she's talking to the paper as if she's talking to SN2
Okay.
without like sending it. So it could be a diary.
Okay. Cash?
What's the difference between a diary and a letter?
Well, a diary, the person's gonna talk more about like her feelings, right? And how she feels, how she's living and things like that. Where a letter, you're more like, it's more of like a conversation kind of thing. Where like, let's say if we took Lilia's on to because we all did it last year, where they would say things and sure they say how they're feeling, whatever, but they were expecting an answer and like it was a certain conversation going on. Where
She talks to her, like she references her a lot, like saying, I know you feel, or she asks her questions too, but like rhetorical questions, like, she doesn't answer. Like, I don't see how a letter can't be emotional, and like a letter can be a sent diary.
Be patient for the response.
like, that's what I'm saying. Like, could we say that it's a diary or not? What do you?
What's the difference between a diary and a letter besides sending?
That
Yeah, like,
the sending. You got it.
It's like
we don't know if she sends it or not, that's the thing.
It kind of sweet.
We can't hear you. Say it again.
Well, like Anne Frank, like it's her like diary journal, like
Okay.
she's talking to someone, but
Okay.
it's never sent. Like it's well, she can't send it.
Well,
Well,
she's talking to like
no,
an
but
invisible
it's just,
narrator. Not narrator, sorry, invisible person.
Like-
Like it's not literally meant for anyone.
I don't know.
Or was it meant for a child? No.
Uh-huh.
I read Anne Frank. It's really boring.
What?
or just like the person being a wallflower is we never find out at the end who his friend is. Like,
Yeah, you
could
do.
be
I didn't read that.
What about Harry Potter?
Right. Wait, you're the friend. Okay, whatever.
I just saw the movie.
Selena's
Made a
upset.
friend that
the
day.
movie, I didn't get it.
Okay, focus on this book.
I don't know what he's
What movie was that?
So,
The Perks of Being a
let's-
Full Flower. What was it about?
maybe
Full
we'll
flower.
go over
Full flower.
some more characteristics of the difference between a diary. Like, we read, another epistolary novel we read, which we know very well.
Handmaid's
is
Tale.
Handmaid's Tale,
Oh wow.
okay?
Yeah, that's a diary.
So, is that a diary? Is that a letter?
It's a diary, it means to send it to someone.
Okay.
Alright, but a video diary. Okay, a vlog, you send to someone.
Oh
A
whoa.
vlog, you send a vlog to someone.
You're too modern.
We expect people to see it.
I know, but it's all right.
You had to say
You don't expect someone to see it when you get a letter. When you publish a book, what do you do with a letter? Like
Yeah.
letters to a specific person.
I feel like maybe like if we say that why didn't she get a response, maybe that was the whole
Strange
point
because
of like the whole genre of the novel of being a monological epistolary novel, so being a
Okay.
one-way thing instead of a two-way.
Why one way?
She focuses on herself. It feels like it's more of an internal type, like
No, Ramatulaye definitely focuses on herself, it's her problem, absolutely. But what would be, it's interesting how both characters, they have experienced the same thing,
oh, that's a
correct? And
How
so,
trustworthy is that?
Yeah.
that's, sorry, that's an issue, right?
How-
Absolutely.
Wait, what do you mean?
Like,
How
is
trustworthy?
this version of the story reliable?
She's lying.
Yeah, because maybe asset two's thing, because if she's close, okay, let's talk about now like relationships, whatever. So if your best friend breaks up with a boyfriend, you're not gonna become really good friends with that ex-boyfriend. Because her, like, ex-husband, right, is helping, like, Amatulaye during the story, right?
Right.
So is how she's portraying Asset to the real Asset, right?
She murdered her husband. She stole her husband.
Yeah, like-
Diego.
Yeah, so the definitions of both. Diary is a daily record of personal activities, reflections, or feelings. And then a letter is a direct or personal written or printed message addressed to a person or organization.
So you can literally just put them together.
Yeah. So it's like a mixture.
You can send your diary, it becomes a letter.
Sauce it.
This could be a good essay.
Good.
Madam, what do you think?
Could.
But shit is one.
Cackles too. She's like, yeah, you're trying.
Would be
I guess I feel like a letter has a point to it, like it's meant like for someone else to read it. And a diary is more like it's very like intimate and it's your own personal thoughts. And we could say like in the novel she says, I know that I'm shaking you, that I'm twisting a knife in a wound hardly healed, but what can I do? I cannot help remember in my forced solitude and reclusion. So it's like we know that Asiatu already knows what Ramatuli is telling her, but she's still writing just
To express herself.
Sure.
I like when
Yeah, that's a good point.
It wants to be heard.
Diego, did you have a point?
I already, no.
No? I thought you had another.
No.
zero.
Ivan?
Like, that's what I feel. I feel like it may have started as a letter where she's informing her friend that her husband died, but the more we go, the more of a diary it becomes, where she's just essentially just expressing herself, showing what she's feeling and like what she's living through. So like that's what I feel. I feel like it's a good mixture of both.
There's a shift.
I like.
I'm gonna write a novel, so long.
Thank you.
Thank you.